Welcome everyone to another edition of the Oracle ISV Cloud Talks. My name is David Hicks, Vice President of Business Development for the ISV ecosystem here at Oracle. And it's a pleasure to be joined by another partner and, dare I say, friend of Oracle, as we kind of talk about their journey to the cloud and how they're working with Oracle. I'll let you hear firsthand directly from them. Obviously, I always say it, you heard it once, you've heard it before. I think our partners tell our story great, and I'd rather you hear it directly from them than from Oracle itself. So with that, let's actually go ahead and get into our section today. And I'd actually like to welcome Kevin with WorkForce. Kevin, thank you so much for your time today. Maybe you could actually, before we get going, briefly tell the audience who WorkForce is and what you do.
Sounds good. So I'm Kevin Haus. I'm the VP of Global Alliances here at WorkForce Software. WorkForce Software is the leader in cloud-based time and attendance and workforce management solutions. We are really the last remaining best of breed to handle the enterprise side of workforce management. We can cover everything from the actual time tracking, schedules, absences, but it's really also about the employee engagement and how to best drive the efficiencies and ROI for our customers.
Great. Thanks for that, Kevin. And again, thanks for being here today. Obviously, as I mentioned, we've been partners for a long time. You guys have been in the business a long time offering your solutions, even kind of offering cloud, right? So what were some of the challenges, especially technology-wise, that you were kind of trying to solve when you actually looked at OCI?
Yeah, so part of it comes down to is that, as a global organization, we had, one of your competitors down in APJ. We have different co-locs throughout the rest of the world. And so for us, some of the initial things that we wanted to really understand was how do we get to a cleaner state from the beginning to end? How do we get all of our infrastructure, be able to lay out and have a process where we can easily manage all the different work that we do? For the data that we hold from all the complexities and the calculations, the performance for what we have is a very key thing. And so when we looked at from a technology perspective, we needed something that was able to really host our entire stack, be able to do this in a global format and really provide the performance that our teams need to best serve the largest, companies in the world.
Yeah, great. So what, if we kind of double click in maybe a little bit there to the technology side, thinking kind of, from the initial taking a look at, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, OCI, on to, starting to fulfill, customer demand. Tell us a little bit about, that journey, with Oracle and what you experienced, in that phase of, the engagement.
So I think your teams will definitely say we put you guys through the ringer. It was definitely in-depth analysis. It was almost 6 to 12 months of going through it. And part of knowing our base and knowing our customers' performance and that ability to ensure that they're going to have, for us, because we handle with pay calculations and how people get paid, the chance of having any type of issues where something goes wrong and they're down just isn't possible. Mm-hmm. So during the evaluation, when we compared, OCI to Azure, compared it to our co-locs, compared it to others, we really needed to ensure what does that look like. So we ended up going through and did some different pilots. We tested out some of our different systems. Early on, we were seeing through some of our initial testing, a 20% performance improvement, which we thought was like, that's awesome. So then we put you through a little bit more of the ringer again and actually did some additional testing. And then through that even higher in depth, we actually even found that we could get up to about a 30% improvement as we continue to drive through all of those evaluations and even mini pilots go through. OCI was a clear-cut winner of how we wanted to move our business and be able to go through. It was able to truly handle the scale of our business and to be able to handle it, to be able to go through and be able to go into new markets. when we look at the customers we serve, it's the top customers. You know, you have some of the top retailers in the world, some of the top manufacturers in the world are who leverage our software. So it's not just, you know, hey, one little data center here in North America or in Australia can serve what it is. The ability for us to replicate what we need to do in OCI globally was one of the things that blew our team away on that. The next part, when we kind of go through that journey piece of it, it's not often does the team come back and, you know, consistently roll out ahead of schedule. So we started with APJ, and as we went through that entire timeline of how we went through, we actually were able to do it faster. The way we were able to do it was through the fantastic partnership with you guys and with Oracle. If it wasn't for that partnership with Oracle, we would not be able to beat the expectations of our senior management. Our board has been extremely impressed with how we've been able to continue to make the switch and to transition over to OCI. And from there, you know, we were then looking at North America. We were actually able to expedite the work that we were doing in North America and make that changeover. And initially in 2021, we were looking at making our changes, you know, second half of the year for our EMEA data centers. We're actually moving all of that up by about 6 months as well, too, because of just the overall performance improvements we're seeing and how well the teams are going and how much, you know, honestly, and how much additional savings that we're going to be able to really realize by making that change.
That's great, and thank you for that, and appreciate you putting us through the ringer. We understand your IP is your software, and if software doesn't work, you guys are out of business. Everyone's going to do functional and performance testing and everything else. So it was a great experience in that cycle with you. So maybe let's go on to, you know, a couple of other questions here. One that I always like to ask, and you probably started to highlight a few of them, but maybe we could reiterate them or go deeper if you've got any comments. Now that you're live on OCI, what are some of the, you know, benefits that you guys are actually seeing as WorkForce? And then maybe we'll get into your customers.
Yeah, so I think for us, there's a few different things. One, obviously, you have less vendors that we're dealing with, and being able to come off of the different colos, coming off of Azure, coming off of, you know, those multiple different people that we're working with. You just have that streamlined approach on it. The second part is consistency. So it's one of those things where, you know, as I talk with the team, it's that kind of hidden cost that's always there. People talk about it, but you can never always truly calculate the cost of it, of being able to work in some of the different environments, and for the infrastructure teams now to have a complete repeatable practice from, you know, data center to data center to data center, really be able to capitalize on that. And that's, you know, saves our people time to be able to go through. One of the other things is just also how we're able to roll out our application on OCI. We've seen additional improvements, speed, you know, it's the back end things that the easier to manage and to be able to accelerate has really cost us. And all in all, and like I touched earlier, that continuing to see not just from the evaluation, but in actual production, a 30% performance improvement on some of the stuff. Some of it's little things that we see more. And so our customers, you know, have always had great performance, but it's even that little things that we go through and be able to have that makes our job so much easier, which then allows us to help our customers even better. So, you know, I think one of the comments from our infrastructure teams was that they wish they would have, you know, started this journey sooner. So, you know, you're doing something right, and you guys definitely have a fantastic solution when you get the infrastructure guys extremely excited about, you know, why can't we go do this sooner?
Yeah, no, that's great. Wish we would have started sooner as well. It would have been just that much longer. We were all working together. So thanks for that. So you did mention it kind of there at the end. Maybe we could talk about some of those benefits. So how is this translating for your customers? What are they, actually seeing and experiencing as a result?
Yeah, so there's a few different things. So one, there is, we definitely have seen some performance improvements on that. There's also, as they're going through some of the different screens, as they're going through the overall integrations and different parts, there's some performance improvement on there. Really, a couple of the things that I think that I really kind of want to highlight about the value for some of our customers. The rollouts of new products, as a cloud-based solution, it's about, how do you provide the latest features, the latest functionality for your customers to be able to go through that. So we're able to really even accelerate how fast we're able to put some of those types of things into production by leveraging all the different tool sets that comes with OCI. So and then one of the things that I know our product team is extremely excited about is the ability to leverage all the different other PaaS services. And so being able to look at how from, just looking at like an additional Oracle customers, how are we able to tie in closer to the rest of the Oracle applications from the HCM side. Also looking at how we can tie into the analytics side within OCI to be able to get that full picture of it. When people talk about, workforce management, a lot of the times they think about, hey, they're clocking in, they're clocking out, and you do a little bit of a spreadsheet type thing. But we actually sit on all of the data around employees and all of that time data. In most organizations, someone's payroll data is really the third biggest cost for that organization. So when you start to tie in of how do you calculate that, how do you analyze that data and be able to go through, the faster you can do that, the better information and the better way to analyze that you can do it. Tying in through, Oracle's analytics and the PaaS services through that, can blow customers away, being able to paint that entire picture and have all of that data that we leverage with the rest of their ERP system or any other like manufacturing system or any other area where they wanted to tie it together. We're able to easily and do that now better and faster than ever before.
That's great. One thing you didn't highlight on, as I'm sure security was important to you guys as well with that kind of data. Anything you would add on that piece as well, maybe?
Yeah. So again, global organization. Security is one of our top concerns. No matter where we go in the world, we have to be able to go through it. It really, by switching over to OCI, it really has helped us kind of streamline our overall approach to it. Our head of compliance on that, has really enjoyed, how well everything has been laid out for our teams and being able to really capitalize on it versus when you're going from a co-loc where our teams are really owning all the different nuances and be able to drive through that efficiency of it. But I guess the other key part, when we start looking at some of our customers who are in, certain verticals, certain parts where, you start to look at like state and local, being able to have those instant certifications ready that we, kind of obtain with OCI, really helps streamline how our teams actually operate completely.
Great. Well, thanks for that then, Kevin. So maybe we shift into, beyond the technology side of it and talk about, what it's actually been like, Oracle as a partner, how we've worked together, since we've done, the initial work and how you see that relationship kind of going forward.
Yeah, thank you. One of the things where I would say from my CEO and myself, we both have worked with Oracle over, a number of years. And in the past, you would say Oracle isn't bad to work with, but you wouldn't say it's been where you would want to start with because of just the size, the complexity, and at times how difficult it can be to get things done. But we started this entire journey together back in January. So I can honestly say over the last year, it has blown us completely away. It has been nothing less than top notch of working together. The teams that have been assembled from senior leadership all the way down has been fantastic. The level of the teams being prepared, energetic, supportive, being able to drive all the different activities, it's fantastic. It's been great. You can't really ask for anything more. And one of the things that really want to highlight is there's no ego. And it's about trying to do what's right for the customer. Both of us come in from the perspective of how do we ensure that who's going to leverage our software, our application, potentially leveraging other applications within Oracle on OCI. All of that is great as long as the customer is being served first. And that's the thing that both teams are really driving towards. We have had such great collaborations as we're working together from a very strategic perspective on large accounts, on small accounts, about trying to figure out how do we do what's right. And at the end of the day, when we look at how do you really partner together, we're doing what's right for the customer first, and how are we both serving that customer. And over this last year, that's exactly what we've done.
Great. Well, and thank you. It's great to hear. We really like to say that we have to do our best work actually after we win that initial deal, right? You have choices, and that's important. And I also like to hear it. We look at you as as a customer and a partner, and realize you've got downstream relationships that we need to support you with, and make sure that all the right things are happening as well. So probably the best part of this session for me was hearing that we're meeting your needs on that side as well. So maybe just kind of one more and hit on that. We've also done a lot, in terms of how we, really start to go not just to, current customers, but how we actually work together to try to, expand opportunities in the market, and, really just, go to market together as well. How some of that worked for you?
Again, honestly, the different go-to-market efforts we've done together has been better than expected. We actually have started from day one. We worked through a lot of different campaigns together. The teams, have very open and honest discussions about what's working, what's not working, how do we adjust, how do we go through on our different campaigns that we're going through. And being able to have that level of collaboration is ideal. No one thing works great, and nothing is ever perfect. And it's always about, okay, well, let's tweak, let's tune, how to be able to go through to be able to get the word out about how we can actually help our different customers. So from, the different campaigns and webinars and emails and, direct reach programs to just joint sales calls together, everybody is really just working very closely together about arm in arm and how we actually able to drive all those things. And we also have been able to sit down and kind of talk through, well, what is it we want to do for the next quarter? What is it we want to do farther out? So it's not always just, hey, last minute, let's just try and do something here. It allows us to really sit down and be strategic about how we're actually working together and driving our message forward.
Yeah, no, and that's great. We've enjoyed those opportunities. Thank you for leveraging them and working with us in that area as well. So maybe we'll start to wrap this up. Let me ask you, one last question. Is there anything else that you would share? Any recommendations you'd have on, how other ISVs should work with Oracle on their journey to the cloud as well? Kind of anything I didn't ask you?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things that I would really kind of think through. I've talked with and willing to be a reference for you guys and go through it all, because I really do believe how well everything has gone and how well this partnership has gone. There's, I think the biggest things that when somebody else who is an ISV looking at making this journey and going through, there's the two big benefits. And that's one that you see as a company for yourself, but then it's also what the value is to the customers. and being able to tie in to the full, Oracle applications and everything else, and be able to drive additional value. A year and a half ago, when I first started talking with the Oracle team, I didn't connect all of those dots. We naturally work with the HCM side, and we've been working with the HCM side on that side. But there's a lot of other different PaaS services that we can actually take advantage of more now, and being able to look into those things to really add on to what we're doing from an application side to really accelerate some of the stuff that our customers are asking for. It could be from a chatbot side, or it could be like the analytics stuff I was talking through. There's a ton more that you can really start to open up the door for. So where you start, you can start simple, you can start small about, being able to just to make that move over and get the initial benefits on it, which is fantastic. But, don't lose sight on the bigger picture of, you have so many more kind of tools in your toolbox, or, candy in the candy store that you can go after and be able to really help and drive the value for your customers.
Yeah, no, thank you. And I know we predominantly focused on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, our infrastructure and platform as a service. Thanks for that mention around, the ability to work with our SaaS portfolio is being one of the largest ISVs, a lot of great opportunities and integration and leveraging our teams and our customer base on that side as well. And actually, with that, Kevin, thank you so much. Appreciate, again, you being such a great partner and friend. WorkForce, encourage everybody to take a look at WorkForce software and their solution. Great things that we hear from all of our joint customers, and appreciate that. I encourage everybody to try to challenge us in the same way that Kevin talked to the WorkForce did. Come talk to us, come evaluate the product, and let's look at the opportunities for partnering beyond that as well. Would encourage everyone also to go to isv.oracle.com, where they can learn more information, hear other partner stories, and kind of start the journey as well. So thank you, and until the next Cloud Talk, my name is David Hicks, and appreciate your time today.